Hello and welcome to UT400, a quick overview in about 10 minutes of some of the key features of the system. I'm logged in as a user called Richard, who's a senior sales operator, and he's logged into the Ferndown branch, and I've been able to log in from a browser, so it could be on a laptop, on a Mac, on a tablet, but I'm using a PC today. First things first, looking at the home page for this particular user, firstly you can see that there are reminders, so you can be reminded about key things. And then moving on to the main dashboard, it's possible to have different KPI tiles based on the different areas that you work in. So he's able to see credit control information, purchase information, company sales and so on. You can drill down into each of the tiles to be able to look at key items and then double click to be able to drill into those specific items. Alternatively, we can go and look at things like sales results, drilling into how his sales have gone in this particular month, tracking his individual sales, and then also building a projection line as to where the month is likely to finish. We can then also take a look at more detailed sales information. So if I click on the sales analysis button, I can look at the sales results for the company, month by month, month to date, year to date, last 12 months, and a predicted value. I can drill into my individual reps and then look at individual reps' results, seeing the detail for them, and use the links at the top to be able to go to the top higher levels of information. Dashboard, if we scroll down, see the timeline for this particular user, so entities that he and his colleagues have been working on, and a list of most recent items he's worked on for things like customers, sales orders, suppliers, purchase orders and products. We also have a global search at the top of the screen, so when somebody rings in, you can enter in anything you want from customer, supplier, product information. So if I type in bucket, a search back that gives me Mrs. Bucket as a particular customer, Mrs. Bucket as a contact as well, and then 19 bucket items. Each of these items, we can either click on an eye to see a little expansion, add to basket in the case of products, or we can use the drill down button to go and see the detail. Mrs. Bucket's got a customer here, so there's a warning that pops up that she needs to be, the sales manager needs to be spoken to. We've also then got a more detailed timeline, so this timeline is now filtered to the activities involving this particular customer record. Each of the timeline entities, so in this case it was a particular order that's been amended, you have a live link to the order, details on what's happened to it, a live link to the customer, a live link to the PDF document, and in this case this order was back ordered, so you've got a link to the back order as well as the original order as well. If this is an item that we may want to keep an eye on and track for a later date, we can click the star button, and it will then get added into our favourites at the top. From the favourites we can use the links to be able to quickly access either customers, orders, products or documents that we want to keep a track on. As well in the customer record we have things like KPI information about this customer, so how much credit she has remaining, sales value from the last 30 days, average order value, live quotes, and this information is linked, so if I click on the credit information it takes me into her credit page. Likewise, if I click on things like live quotes, that will actually take me into her historic orders. I have other information about the particular customer, so things like addresses that carry Google Maps with them, and that's both invoicing addresses and delivery addresses. There's a directory of contacts, each with their own phone, mobile and email address details on, as well as then being able to look at sales analysis for a customer. So for this particular customer I can look at her sales results for the last 3 months, or perhaps I want to look month to date, or I can look year to date. and that's very simple to navigate. The bars that show the sales totals, you can hover over, and each of these segments in the bar there is an individual order, and you can click and go into that particular order if that's what you want to do. In addition, you have analysis information like category trends, what types of product this customer has been buying, and then also her preferred products, the items she's ordering most often in terms of how much she's spending, how often it's ordered, the number of days since it was last ordered, and the average days between orders, hoping to help the sales team to navigate to the items the customer's likely to want. With this customer, we can also add a new order if we want to, so by just clicking on the new order button. Once we have the new draft order up, we can start to add products in that she may be interested in buying. So in this case, we'll go and look for a black, filters the list back to the products, and we can go and choose a black bucket. This pops up the quantity entry. We can see that we're showing negative stock in Ferndown at the moment. We actually have 200 in stock, but over 200 are allocated, so there's a chance we can actually take some of that stock at the moment. So if I say that she wants 10 of that particular item, it's warning me as a user that there's insufficient stock for this particular product, but I do actually have an order coming in on the 27th, and I can link and go and see the purchase order that that relates to. We can then also search for, if I go and look for a timber product, we now have a different quantity entry item where, because it's a timber item, we can enter it by volume, volume in pieces, length in pieces, or specified packs. You can do this by typing any of those quantity measures into this single entry box, or you can use the tick items here. So I can use the positive buttons to be able to add to that description and be able to navigate forward when I have the correct amount. Alternatively, if there was an error with that, I can simply go in and they can say, actually we wanted 2 3-meter lengths and 1 3.6. And that has gone and amended the specification of lengths and therefore the total amount that is in there. From this point, we can either take the customer forward with a quotation, or if they're ready to order, we can proceed there. So if we do a quotation for them, this brings up the quotation dialog box. It will pick up any email addresses from the customer record, or alternatively you can add additional ones in, and it has standardized text, but you can amend that if that's what you want to do. When you're ready to send the quote to the customer, simply click email order quote. You'll notice the status of the order is now changed to a quote, and assuming the customer then rings back and says, yes please, I'd like to take that, we can allocate it and turn it into an order. We simply fill out the detail then of the header that makes it an order, so the customer demands a reference, so she'll add that in, choose a delivery address, or alternatively you can add a new address if you want to. The details of the address are there, so you have both the map, Google Map, and any details and instructions associated with it. Choose items like source. Because it's an account customer, it's defaulted to pay on account, but in this particular case we'll proceed with their default terms. That then pops up offering a set of documents to send, in this case emailing an order confirmation which we will send to the customer. This is now an allocated order. It has downdated the remaining credit available to the customer at the top of the screen there, and is still giving me items like my warnings. If I then want to be able to edit this order, I go into edit mode, and from the edit mode I can make a variety of changes. Firstly, because there's insufficient stock of this item, I can choose to source it from somewhere else. So by choosing stock source, I can see the stock situation. I can see that there's insufficient in stock. There is 44 on order, but there's only 2 due in. So then I can look for alternative sources. I can either go and look at the purchase orders, so it can look at the items that have already got this product on it, and I can add to those particulars, simply upping the quantity that's coming in. Alternatively, I can add a new line to other orders that are coming through. I may wish to place a back-to-back order, so specifically ordering it for this customer. Do a direct to site, so I can get a supplier to send immediately to the customer, or alternatively I may want it to be manufactured out of my milling facility. In this case I'm going to do it as a back-to-back order, so I can either add it to an existing or I can create a new back-to-back order. In this case I'm going to place it with this supplier, and being a back-to-back order it's defaulting to the quantity that the customer is ordering, but alternatively I might order excess for stock. We can now see that the cost price has become live, and so if I change the cost price on there, that will affect the cost price on the purchase order, and I can link and look at the purchase order or the supplier if I want to from within that order line. We can also make changes by looking at pricing in here, so this particular item is priced at £3.25. If I go in there, I can see it's £3.25. There's no discount currently offered on that. I can see the previous times that this customer has either quoted or ordered this product. I can see a price table here that is offering discounts if the customer takes over 10 meters or over 50 meters. See what those are. And I have a history of the pricing as well, so I can see that it's defaulting to £3.25 because they haven't hit the 10 meter mark yet. Alternatively, I might want to do a deal on this and say that I'm going to do it for £3.10, and if I do that, we can then see that this price has been set by a user for 9.6 meters at £3.10. Alternatively, we might want to go and look at discount information, so if I go in and look at discounts, I can see any automatic price discounts that are in there. I can add manual discounts in and give a reason for it as well. Likewise, I have a couple of tools here that enable me to set the desired end price for the customer, the net price, by configuring either what the base price is or setting a discount. Once we're happy with our order line, we can then dispatch the order out, or alternatively we can take it through a picking process. With the dispatch line, it offers us different header information, so we can confirm, so adding additional instructions that will appear on the dispatch documentation. Once we're there, we can see the lines that are due to be dispatched. If we haven't picked a particular line, we can untag it, we can set it to be back ordered. Alternatively, we can amend the quantity as well, so if we've just sent 6 on this particular occasion, and we can choose to back order that as well. Likewise, we can substitute out products if that's what we want to do. Once we're happy with that, we can dispatch the items. That will give us a summary of what we are sending. So the customer has ordered 10, we're sending 6, and the items that are being back ordered as well. And once we're finished, we hit Finish Dispatch. Once this is done, it shows that a back order has been created, and likewise when we look at the order detail, we can see both a link to the back order itself, the details of what has been supplied, and a little summary at the bottom of everything that's been put on back order. All orders in the system can be copied, so it's very quick to be able to copy an order, either for the existing customer or select a different customer for it to be copied to, and that gets copied as a draft order ready to be taken through the sales cycle. Another feature in UT400 is the basket. Within the basket, we can either add items from other areas in the system, or we can search for items to add in here, filtering back until we find the product we want and adding it into the basket. Likewise, we can do a text search, so it's possible to search for items When we're happy with the items that the customer wishes to purchase, we can either add it to a draft order to be processed through as either a trade or a cash sale, or we can do a very simple quick retail sale. All the information in a retail sale is default, but it is possible to add additional information if you're interested. And we can then select the tender type by which the customer is going to be paying. So in this case, cash. We can put in how much they're paying, and it will remind the user how much change is due. That will then generate a cash sale invoice for that particular customer, and we're ready to enter the next order as needed. I hope that's given a useful introduction to UT400 and some of the features that are available in it. Please talk to us if you'd like to find out more.